Guyanese dollar. This money, like, it's leaking. It's leaking. But this leak is not by accident. What happens when the value of money falls? Answer, I am ripped off 92 camels. 92% of my wealth gone. Where did it go? How did they rip me off? I weep for Malcolm X. I weep for him. He wasn't a sheikh. He didn't know the Arabic language. Everybody put in their bad mouth on him. He never went to Al-Azhar University. But when Malcolm saw a wolf, he could recognize it as a wolf. And when Malcolm stood up before a wolf, the wolf respected him. Yes, Malcolm could see what others still can't see. That's why I respect him and I love him, regardless of the price I may have to pay. This system is not just fraudulent. We're being ripped off. Do you know? I teach the subject this way. I say, I work for the whole month. I get my salary, 1 gold coin, could buy a camel. Take it home, give it to my wife, put it away. 5 years later, 10 years later, demand and supply remaining constant. Say, Dudu, give me the donkey. Go on the market. I could still buy the camel. But when slave master started paying me with paper money, I could buy a camel, carry it home, put away the money. 5 years later, when I take it out, can't buy a camel anymore. Could only buy a donkey now. My audiences in Indonesia in particular, oh, they love it this way. They could understand it because they've been ripped off. 5 years later, of course in Indonesia you can't lecture in English, so somebody had to be translating into Bahasa Indonesia. 5 years later, take it out, can't buy a donkey anymore, could only buy a goat now. 5 years later, can't buy a goat anymore, can only buy murgi. What is murgi? Chicken! Could only buy a chicken. Huh? That's where we are now. Do you know what is the value of the Turkish lira? This is what Dajjal has done. And let me not be disrespectful, but yet let me deliver a wake-up call. While our distinguished and learned scholars of Islam, and we have more than we have ever had before. When I was a child growing up, we didn't have a single Maulana in this country. Now we have Maulana every corner. While the learned and the distinguished scholars of Islam are ominously silent. The Turkish lira is now trading at 1.6 million liras, equivalent to $1. And yet, our learned and distinguished scholars of Islam can't wake up. That this paper money is haram. We should return to Sunnah money. Well, then why? The 2 basket and the 1 basket. Huh? It was haram to exchange the 2 basket of dates for the 1 basket. But it was not haram to exchange the 4 camels for the one. Now, everybody could answer that question. Huh? Can't you? Answer? Because dates were used as money. If we allow an unequal exchange of dates, I could say to you, okay, I've given you 100 kilos of dates, and you will return 200 to me. See? You open the door for money to be lent on interest. That's why he said, Bilal, you should have sold the 2 baskets and take that money and buy the 1 basket. But a direct exchange of 2 baskets of dates for 1 was haram. Why? Because dates were used as money. But then why is it that you could exchange 4 camels for 1? That was not prohibited. That was not riba. Why? Because animals were not used as money. I worked for the whole month. And at the end of the month, my boss paid me. And my salary was a goat. So I coming back home with the goat. And while I coming back home with the goat dropped down and dead. So when I reach home, I tell my wife, I say, Dudu, salary dead. Salary dead. She say, go and tell the boss, salary dead. So I went to the boss. I said, boss, salary dead. Boss said, but when I gave you salary was in it. You can't use animals as money because animals are perishable. Can we use Dudu's mango as money? No. Sheikh, your money rotting. Your money rotting. You have to use something which has a shelf life. Can we return to Sunnah money? What should we do tomorrow when the state of Israel wages the big war that all of us know is coming? The only one who probably doesn't know that that war is coming, a man named George Bush. And when that war realizes the dramatic territorial expansion of the state of Israel, how big? The Torah says from the river of Egypt to the river Euphrates, which is why you have to occupy Iraq. So when Israel wages that big war, Israel will seize the Suez Canal. You don't need a PhD from UWI to understand that. Not only will Israel seize the Suez Canal, Israel is going to seize the oil of the Gulf. And as volatility hits the supply of oil, and the price of oil is going up. How much it is now? 49? And you take control of the oil of the world, and you make sure that people do not get a chance to resort to solar energy and wind energy to gain energy independence, but they're dependent on oil. And even if you're an oil-producing nation, you still have to sell at the market price of oil. Well, now you really control the world because you control energy around the world. That's what Israel is going to be tomorrow. But at the same time that Israel wages that big war, and my guess is within the next 5 to 10 years, we might live to see it. There's also a withdrawal